Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Aries here with a video. So, I'll have to retouch up my lipstick real quick. Anyways, today's topic is going to be simple. Norma asked a question and a video suggestion about dating a trans woman, a man trying to find a finding a partner. Now, I'm going to go and break it down into multiple things. One being a transgendered, male to female, and that is heterosexual who likes men, or a male to female who's lesbian or bi. So I'm going to break down the male to females. For you, female to males that come on across this site, this isn't about talking about you, but if you want me to suggest something about it, then I'm sorry, I don't have the experience on it. So please bear with me. I'm just trying to finish this touch up real quick, and then I am good to go. So I have my mirror with me. So anyways, there, I look cute. So taking my glasses off, I don't like glare on the TV screen, so from the camera. So anyways, I wanted to say to you all that being a trans woman is not easy, for one, okay? Secondly, Norma asked a question that I will try to speed up and get things done, because I have other things I still gotta do tonight. So, first of all, the main key to finding a man or a woman who you'd like to be, if you're lesbian, if you're bi, if you're heterosexual, you must first make sure in your heart and be completely righteous as the Lord wants you to be righteous, and you be honest. You don't sit there and find a guy, sleep with him after a while, and he finds out you were born a man. He'll literally beat the crap out of you, most likely. Or he'll get his goons to help him, his buddies. So be very careful when it comes to deceiving. Deceiving is the first answer, is don't deceive. Be honest with yourself. Honesty is the best policy for finding a transgendered partner. Or, a transgendered woman to find a man or a woman. Be honest. But a lot of true lesbians won't date another woman who was born male. They cannot. So we won't go into that details there. But I've talked to a few lesbians in my life, and the experiences was more pleasant because it was just about idle chit-chat about these things, and they were very open-minded. So being disabled, of course, doesn't leave the playing field literally open for me, but a lot of people out there say, well, you can have Angela, you can have Annie, which a lot of people say, oh, you have Aaron. It's not easy. My first relationship, I met a male to female in Australia who I went out there to be with, and I spent 4 years with her, and she committed suicide. I came back to the States to handle a couple affairs, and I was going to go back to her, and she committed suicide. So, secondly, is my second partner was Aaron, who is still legally called Sarah. They are male to female. It was misdiagnosed. They're not gay. Now, we do not want to go and judge any transgendered person out there, whether they be male to female or female to male, but I'm going to just talk about the male to female spectrum. Sometimes you get someone who comes out to their family as gay, and then they claim to be heterosexual. Well, heterosexual or not, sometimes they can clock you as a male, and they won't date you. So unless there's some type of marking or some type of notice that a guy can pick up, about 80% of the time to 97% of the time, guys can pick up you were born male. Now, I've been clocked a few times myself, and usually they just look at me like, oh, it's an older woman, Yet sometimes they come up to me and, being funny, they say, "What about the younger generation?" The younger generation will be the ones that basically sit there and go on TV, like a couple of them, and then they say 20, 30 years ago later, like it happened in Australia where there was 3, 4 dozen who were misdiagnosed, turn around and say, "Oh, this isn't me. I need to go back to my original gender and I want to try dating a opposite sex." Well, when you need to make sure you're going through it for the right reasons. Now, a lot of them don't get partners because a lot of them who've been in relationship with women who change completely over to men because they say that's their true gender and their true calling is they're being a heterosexual female. It's two reasons. One is, even if you pass very well, it's not about the pass or the voice or the mannerism. It more is also about your surroundings. You don't go into a bar and ask. If a guy comes up to you, and I've had drinks bought a lot, I tell him outright. Heck, I've had a few people just sit there and say, "Oh, well, since you were male, my buddies and I have a bet. Um, I'll buy you a drink, but we'd like to know, is your breast real?" Yeah, so you tell them, they give you the drink, but then they go back and they say, "Oh, well, they're not," because some of them don't realize that, their hormones or implants or whatever, for example. But most men, the real reason they have a hard time accepting a trans woman as a genetic female, pretty much with genetic birth defects, is simple. For one, when they do let's just say you find a guy you really like, but he's not interested in a trans person, so you think getting your surgery below would help him. It won't. It might make him more furious because men nowadays do not want to stick their penis into a inverted penis that's made into a vagina. So you got to be very careful finding a partner. There you have it. You got to be very careful. Most men do not want to be macho. I've not seen many gay men go with trans women after their surgery. I've seen a lot of gay men run away, and I've heard a few gay men becoming trans women, and then they say, "Where's the girls?" Where is the men? And then you got the ones who are lesbian. They say, "Where's the women?" And it's a big, big mess because more likely, as I was talking to Rhonda Girl, more likely you'll end up single the rest of your life. But she said she has no problem with it. Well, I don't mind being single because think of it this way. Most of these women out there, they want to be that little housewifey, use sperm that they had frozen, have a child, raise a family. But most guys nowadays that I've seen in my city, my state, my county, they all do not want to raise a kid. One guy basically told me his wife conned her into having a kid, otherwise they were going to have a divorce. Now she's got a kid and she's happy as hell, but he said, he didn't want a kid. Then you have the other ones who just want to sit there and use their little heads but not have, serious relationships. So men are different. Some of them it's a machoism. Some of it's whatever reason. The ones that do date a trans woman, usually from my experiences, are the ones who can't get a genetic girl. So they settle with a trans girl. And those are the ones that the guys can actually truly love and accept and honor them and be loyal to them. Whereas a lot of the trans women who are gay, for example, as Aaron was talking about today, go through it. He was venting about that today. They end up single. And then I was talking to Rhonda Girl, as I said, and she said, well, I'd choose the same thing if I were a heterosexual female. So, I'd rather be single than date a trans person. So, everyone has their own preferences out there. But from my experience as a woman, a lot hinders on the man. Most men will not date a trans woman because they don't want to be affiliated with another man who went through it, and they do not want to accept that we are women with a genetic birth defect. They want to say that it's a mental disorder and that it's wrong, and that if they ever found out through deceit, they'd either beat the crap out of them or get killed. And that's not right, and that is totally wrong. And then the other problem with these men is because they're so attached to their masculinity, they think a man that can do this and deceive is very bad, and they're afraid that they might be turning gay because of it. They won't accept the fact that if you go through all this surgery, you are a female and you are matching your mind with your body and your soul. Therefore, they should accept it, but they won't, because they still think their masculinity is damaged. And secondly is that unless you're truly intersexed, in their opinion, I've talked to many people that talked about intersex or hermaphrodism, that if you have a chromosome of the male chromosome, which I believe is XX or XY, I can't remember. I had a chromosome test done a while ago when I was in Australia. It came back normal. So my mind and soul did not match up with my body. So there you have it. So most men nowadays, until they break the barrier, I mean, yes, we're breaking barriers with people on TV and Caitlyn Jenner and other people, but they're still not going into that mode of dating. So there you have it, So just look around and just look at your surroundings, and before you even think about asking, remember, be yourself. Be honest. Don't lie. Don't deceive. And you might find someone out there, but if you deceive and the guy finds out, there's going to be trouble, and I really don't want violence against my fellow trans sisters because of it. That is why I always am open as a minister of God to say, do not deceive. Do not teach others that after all your excess plastic surgery or hormones and stuff that makes you pass well, that you can get a guy. Maybe that guy there might be the last thing you see after he finds out that you were born a male. So be always honest with yourself. I do not want to see any of my trans sisters dead because they pass very well and they deceive others. There's organizations out there that state you need to be completely passable. And so, but then you have some of the guys out there who look at and just like to make fun of the older trans that don't pass. The ones that are in their 50s and 60s and 70s. Hell, the other day, Aaron and I saw a trans person. They're almost 80. And Aaron says, what the F is going on with the world? Yeah. So, those are the ones that won't get anyone. But even if you look as, like some people say, I've done it too. And in my opinion, I'm not as attractive as Caitlyn Jenner, but everything I've seen online looks like the Crypt Keeper. Now, no offense to any transgender people out there that like her. It's just my freedom of choice is on this video. So that's how I express my my opinion. So no offense to anyone out there. So the bottom line is if you want to date, be yourself, be honest, and you'll find someone. I found 2 people online. You just got to be honest. Oh, and if you look online and you're honest, make sure you do check if you're going to meet someone from online, meet in a public place. Make sure your surroundings and everything, because I do not want you hurt. That's the main thing. Now, after that, you can figure out what's going on. So, but just remember, deceiving is not good. And if you are a heterosexual female, you're transgender, you're going to need to let your guy know. Because if the guy finds out in the old family photo books that mom and dad pull out, and you get embarrassed, well, you didn't tell your fiance the plan. He might just get angry and leave, and that's it, or he might assault you later just because of it. So always be careful. Reason transgender people aren't getting really much relationships is because, well, it's still not widely accepted. People are accepting it a little more graciously, but as generation and generation and generation die, the older non-accepted generation, the newer generation, the hip-hop generation, are slowly accepting it. Eventually, it's just going to be the norm, where if you meet a girl who's trans, well, all gravy. But in this day and age, good luck. So everyone, please, please, just be careful. Dating is not something to take lightly, but if you keep praying and finding someone and being honest with them and they like you and things can work out, great. But just remember, you don't need to be dishonest. That is why things happen in this world. So, with that said, everyone, please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestions. Thank you, and may God bless the world.